Well, I'm basically running. Oh, well, we'll get on the stream and we'll do it. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to bonus round as Sidequest Live Sidequest with Gordon and myself, as he is now having to run two characters. So let me just get him up on a stream here. My hotkeys don't seem to be working, so just 1 second. Welcome back, Gordon. Thank you for joining me as we figure out what your actual character is doing, because during that game you were playing the doppelganger, as you those listeners and watchers already know. So because you are when you were saying doppelgangers don't get bonus, just so you know, I'm basically thinking he has a lot of the similar skill sets that Rook already has. He's going to be considered a rogue. Maybe not exactly the same flavor of rogue. You can feel free to make him as a level, almost level 5. Let's say a level 4 rogue, but with the doppelganger bonus abilities. So telepathy for one person, which gives you advantage on deception and persuasion. It also allows you to glean information that you might not be able to gather otherwise. Now, how we pull that off without you giving that away, I don't know. But let's just say for all your deception and persuasion rolls, consider if it's against only one person, like that old man that we met today, you would have advantage. So just give yourself advantage for those. The other thing, he's considered a rogue, so he's got a lot of similar abilities that Rook has already. So almost the same as Rook. So it actually worked out pretty well. Love this twist. Wondered if something would pop up with the circle of truth. I know. Thank you, Luca. I was so looking forward to that moment, but you stayed
I thought maybe
so
they were going to
quiet.
do something. Nope, didn't do anything.
And Tillman did not think to ask you any questions, and so you were just like,
Yeah, I was just sitting there, like, not saying anything on purpose. It's like, why would I?
I tried to watch you a couple times. I was like, is anything gonna come out here? But unfortunately, everybody's focused on that little old guy, the little old elf man. But yeah, it was that could come in that could get really interesting if Tillman casts that on you. Sorry, a little bit of table talk here. So what we need to do is figure out what your actual character back in Tasverell is doing while all this goes down. So I know we did some of this on text, but let's kind of go through a bit of that. So what did you? And thank you for sticking around. This is bonus content, I suppose. So you were saying some stuff about what Rook, actual Rook, not Volstlo, gets up to back in Tasverell. Go ahead.
So, I mean, one of the first things Rook is going to do is try to make it back to a safe place. Probably one of the first places he would think about would be going to the Wild Book Inn. And because Tien is there, he is not just going to rush back, but like stealth.
Okay.
And make his way back under cover.
A stealth check for me, please. If you still have some dice around.
I do. I'm still in the game.
Tell me what it is.
So.
I'm logged off, so you can do it. I believe you. I can also check the logs later.
25?
25. Wow, that's one hell of a stealth check. All right, so and do a perception check for me. And this is Rook, so you get all the abilities of Rook. But when you're
he's got expertise in that as well. Yeah. 15.
15. That's enough to pick out. You do realize you have been followed, and it's almost like a lag. If you kind of stop and catch your breath for a bit, and then you hear the footsteps of running footsteps, and you see these couple of like black cloaked hooded figures kind of, where do you go? And you hide in the corner. You hide super effectively with your abilities, and they don't manage to spot you, but they move on from the alley, and then you move again, and after about 5 or 10 minutes they start running there, and you kind of check your pouch, and you've taken off that ring. Your fingers just scored with the 4 almost like jagged metal prongs that dug into your finger. So you got a little bit of blood there, but in your pocket, you can feel the weight of this ring. You could ditch it. It seems like maybe they're tracking you by magical means because they don't seem to notice you when they get close. You hide for a bit or sneak off on a rooftop. But they do seem to be tracking you somehow.
I mean, I know what Kat said, like that they could probably track the ring and try to get like a lead container.
Yeah.
I think one of the things is, okay, if two people were actually going after me, I'd probably stealthily move into a location, try to find a lead container, try to find a weapon. But if I am armed or anything, I don't think I am.
Not currently, no. You're almost naked. Like, they'd had you in that... Actually, you had your basic, whatever gear you had on you. But no, they stripped you of your gear and gave it to Volstagg.
Yeah, like I think I just had my clothes.
Yeah, and even that, most of your clothes have been taken and given to Volstagg to pass himself off as you when they did the quick snatch and grab.
So then I wouldn't want to engage them. I would just hide, try to find a lead container, and
unfortunately, lead containers relatively rare. So your best bet is to contact somebody for some help. And at first, you're thinking, you were mentioning you wanted to run and talk to Calrun, but every time, not the exact same two, but another group of 2 or 3. It kind of varies as you start making your way towards the richer sections of town, which is where you'd had that meeting with Calrun. Unfortunately, every time you have to get into the richer section, there's kind of a gated community, so there's a wall, and there's a gate going through, and it's not city guard. There are city guards there, but it's not the city guards that you spot. You see a couple of, like, sketchy-looking, dark-robed, hooded guys just kind of hanging out near the main entrance to the richer area, and you get the impression if you go through here you think eyes will notice it. And you were also you remember that Calrun had been attacked as you guys tried to get there.
So I think like what I would do seeing something like that, I would actually go somewhere like the Wild Buck Inn, because I'm pretty sure I could find something made out of lead there with Tien's help.
Sure. All right, so you go over to the Wild Buck, and you make sure to lose them and then double back. And you go running, and you're like, okay, you hope you get a couple of minutes. I'm going to get you to do, as you go in, and you're like wearing your skivvies, and you kind of sneak in, I'm going to get you to do either a stealth check or something. Are you going to stealth in? You're going to just let her know you're there? What are you going to do?
That would be a 13.
All right, so it's certainly not very stealthy as you go trying to sneak in through that kitchen where you once put out that fire. And you go kind of in through the back way, and you come face to face. You see the elbow of this man just inside the entrance as you kind of snuck in there. Whoa! And there's this elbow, and then you look up and you see the chef, and he's just leaning against the counter. Hey, get out! Do I know you?
Yeah, I'm the one that helped you put out the fire. I need a lead pot or something.
What? Come in the front door. What?
That's fine.
So you go
what?
You don't go in the front door. You cut through the kitchen.
No. I'm I'm just saying, sure, fine, but I need a lead container.
So you look around. Do a perception check for me.
Okay. 24.
24, nice. All right. So you look around, you're like, metal pot. Metal's good. Okay. That metal pot with a metal lid, that might help. And you chuck it, you pour out the water. Hey, that's my soup. And you clunk the whole pouch in there, and you clamp the lid on it.
Yep.
And hopefully that'll hold for now. It's freaking hot. It does burn you slightly, but your fingers are dead anyway, so you don't notice. And at that point, you hear a voice behind you.
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
As Tien.
Yeah, it hasn't been a good night. Let's put it that way.
And she eyeballs you as you're like standing there in like not even breeches, like literally underwear. And she's just looking you, and she's like,
Yeah, no shit. All right. Come and have a pint.
So she takes you into the bar, and it's pretty late at night, and so there's nobody else around. It's just you and her, and you kind of find your way to a stool. She pours you a drink, slides it across, pours herself a double.
Do I even want to know?
I don't know if you do. There's some bad people that I just got away from. If I tell you too much, may not be good.
I knew you reminded me of him. Jesus. All right. My ex.
I'm gonna need some help. I need some clothes.
Okay, now you really remind me of my ex.
Yeah. I'll pay you back.
Are you him?
She pokes you.
You're like 10 years
No,
younger
I actually will
version.
pay you back.
Sure. That's what they all say. All right. What do you need?
I need some clothes. If you have any leather armor, a dagger or two, and that'll do.
All right, come with me.
And she takes you down through, kind of down through this hallway, and not to the kitchen, but past the kitchen to kind of a small little back office. You actually see a cot there. It's probably her main room, where she sleeps. And there's a desk, and walks over to this wardrobe in the corner, opens it up, digs through, pulls out this burlap sack, kind of opens it, gives it a sniff, kind of fishes out a few things and tosses them in the corner, and then throws the rest of the sack at your feet.
I'll just kind of see what can work.
All right, so you open it up, and there's basically it's essentially a rogue starter kit. Essentially, there's a couple of daggers, a belt, a couple of sheaths for them, all basic, non-magic, not even fancy stuff. And the clothes are slightly big on you. So there's not undergarments, but like what you would wear under armor, like not gambeson, but cloth. And the shirt's a little bit baggy, especially around the belly. But the legs of the pants are a little bit long. And then there's kind of the reinforced pads where the armor, leather armor. It's basic leather armor, couple of daggers, and a pouch and a belt and some boots. And again, the boots are a little bit large, but they'll do if you tie them real tight. And she's just like,
Yeah, he left those behind, so meant to get rid of them years ago. My husband. Ex. Sorta. Anyway, you can take them. No charge. You did
I'll pay you
kind
back
of save
nonetheless.
my inn.
What's that?
You did kind of save the inn when you put out the fire, so...
Yeah.
Let's call it even. Don't bring anything down on me. I got enough trouble.
Fair enough. You got it.
If you see him, tell my husband that he's a fucking hole.
Will do. I've never met him in my life, but okay.
You're probably better off that way. He runs in some circles. Probably circles that you want to run in, but he managed to claw his way out and apparently get bigger than this place and me. Anyway.
What's his name again?
I'm trying to forget, kid.
also the DM has forgotten. Enter that in the montage.
All right.
Me forgetting shit.
you
I
can tell me
know
later,
I
but like
said
I'll
it
note it.
ages ago. Back in like
Yeah.
episode 1. God damn it. I forget. He did have a name. I'd have to check my notes.
Okay. Yeah, you can tell me later. I'll just note
She
it for
does
later.
mention a name, and then she's just like,
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's just say it's been a while.
Well, if I run into him, I'll say hi from you, just like you said.
No, if you're gonna say hi just like I said, it's like this.
and she slaps you hard.
Oh, fuck. Uncanny dodge.
Yeah, you duck out of the way, no problem. Now that you can do that for free, and she's like, all right. So you got some basic gear, and she does get the cook and calls him in and be like,
No. Get the lead one. You know, the one that kept making people a little dizzy? Yeah, that pot. Yeah.
so they give you a small like veggie pot, and you can put
Yeah.
this thing in there and bind it
Put the
tight
thing
with
in.
rope and
Nice.
like twine. So you've got a pot with you that you just clip on your belt, and it's working as a lead box.
Okay. So I just need to I need like 4 hours if I can. Actually, you know what? I'm leaving because I don't want them tracking because they're probably somewhat near. I am actually going to leave and I'm going to head to the Undertow.
Nice. So as you leave, she's just kind of roll a persuasion check.
Uh,
Nice.
9.
Okay. So she's like,
Well, good luck, kid. Don't remind me too much of him. Not much of a role model.
Okay.
all right.
I'm actually going to take off to the Undertow where not many people dwell. And because it's
Especially
mainly
now that it's
abandoned.
been half demolished
Right.
or hollowed out.
But it's one of the few places that, like, it reminds me of bad things, but people don't go there. It's abandoned, so I'm gonna
It's a
go to
ghost
my.
town on the edge of the city,
It's a ghost
kind
town.
of up higher on the
Yeah.
cliff face, overlooking some of the break wall. And the towers, the old towers, are totally. The whole place is rumored, probably rightly so, to be haunted. And people who go in here tend to have a tendency to die. So, or at least that's the rumor. So you find your way back to some very familiar streets. You know practically every cobblestone. You know where to go, and you find this little nook, and you manage to catch a couple hours of rest. Or go ahead and do a stealth check for me, because it's familiar terrain. I'm gonna say with advantage.
Okay. So the first roll is a 30 because I rolled a nat 19, and the next roll was a nat 1. So I'll take the 30.
Take the 30. All right, so you find this little nook, and you pop open this grate and wiggle your way through, and you pull the grate closed behind you. This is a place used to hide as an urchin. Like nobody knows about this spot except your best friends, and you're just huddled in the dark. And you even find some of your old shit there, and and this old like scratching on the wall where you had carved you and your friends had carved your name. Like you see the names, Angel. You see Cat's little signature there across, like little stitching, just etched into the wood with dagger points, and it's the smell that gets you. It's that old unfortunate return to home. And you fall asleep to the whispered voices of your friends just welcoming you back. I think you're muted.
I don't sleep.
Well, you rest as you
I rest for 4 hours.
You rest
in a
for 4
motionless
hours.
state.
In a motionless state, and your friends are just, "You do good, kid," Angel says. And then Cat's like, "Welcome home." And a couple of the others kind of pipe in, "Welcome home. Welcome. Welcome. Oh, do you need anything? Good to see you. Thank you. Welcome home. Welcome. Never thought I'd see this place."
Had to be back, I guess. And so when he gets his 4 hours, just and also he hears all the whispers, I guess. He knows that it's not going to be easy to get to Calron. He has two options. One he's thinking is that he would actually go back and stake out the shop, which is risky because there's multiple enemies. But he also knows that they're trying to track the ring. And he wants to sabotage the doppelganger. Yeah. And it'll take quite some time for people to get to the Undertow and even find a place like this. So he actually wants to lay a trap because he's expecting them to eventually come. So he's gonna want to put it. He's gonna want to put himself in a position, and they can only go through one area to get to him, and that he can get the drop on them. He's expecting 1 or 2 or 3 people to come, and in the meantime, though, when he wants to set it up so that he can try to use the ring to see what he can do to sabotage the other doppelganger, expecting, a couple of people at least to come, and he's actually going to try to take them out.
Nice. All right, so you're hatching this plan, and you're getting ready. So just mechanically, and we can figure this out next time, but that seems like a great pause point for us as you're kind of coming up with your plan, and you've got this idea of what you're going to do. And so next time, we'll see how that all pans out. If you want to, let's just see how the second half of that plan comes together. As you take your pot and you open it, you try on the ring, you try to make connections, see what's happening, see what Voslo sees is the easiest part. And you can see them fixing the thing. You see this little old elf guy. You see the T-Rex thing. You just see little snippets of this as you dare to risk. And then if you want to try to affect anything, it's a wisdom saving throw on Voslo's part. And let's say an Arcana
Don't try to wait
check.
for a good moment.
Yeah, an Arcana
Sorry,
check.
what's that?
It would be an Arcana check on your part to try to wrest control or do something, and then he would get a wisdom saving throw. It's like an opposed.
So how about I do the Arcana check, and then
Sure.
but he's gonna wait for a good moment.
Fair, and let's
He's
just do
realized
that in advance. The checks, and then you can kind of watch for that moment next game when Rook takes at least a few moments of control if it works out. So go ahead and roll your Arcana, and you do have Cat's help.
I do have, and I'll almost definitely use knowledge from a past life.
Hell yeah. So this is going to come up in the future of the other game.
Yeah. Whoa. That would be. Hold on.
Ooh.
A dirty 20.
Ooh, that beats the living hell out of my 3. But let me just figure out exactly what that would be with. I should know the doppelganger stats by now, but let me just pull that up here. Here it is, 1 page over. Not great. So that's a 4 on the doppelganger's part. So you will have the option to interject and take over briefly. And the longer you do that, the more you expose yourself to agents of his brothers to track you down. So if you want to take over for a while, that's possible, but real risky. And let's say every once in a while it's another contested roll. So I'll just ask you, do me a favor, roll more Arcana, and that's going to be your signal that it's another Voslo's trying to.
So I'll do it one more time.
You will, when we're actually playing. Now.
When we're actually playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You'll
And
signal
I'll
when we
just
are.
say,
Okay.
roll Arcana for me. That's why. All right, and so we can watch for those moments where you interject that. And let's say, just for fun, hopefully you've set it up in such a way as you can get them to come through and stab, although it does, again, take over Rook's vision when it's almost like a familiar, where you close your senses off completely to kind of take over Voslow's senses and influence him.
Yeah.
So it's a risky maneuver if you do it enough, because it's making you can't be wearing lead while this is happening. So anytime you do this, the agents could be closing in.
Yeah, he wants to find a good time. I think he's seen enough to know that they've been busy. They haven't really checked with him at all. Voslo has been quiet and like basically no one's really kind of checked on him. So he's trying to find a moment where Voslo will actually have to kind of be a bit deceptive, like, an inkling, it's something. But anyways, I'll find a moment in maybe next week, and then we'll play it out.
All right, sounds good. And otherwise, Rook is just kind of flitting from area to area, trying not to leave too many trails or too many patterns that the brothers Garak and his other doppelganger brother and their agents could track you down. All right, and I think that's where we're going to leave it for now. And we'll check in again next game, which should be next week. All right, thank you for being willing to stick around and do this after the game. It's kind of cool to see what Rook's up to, and hopefully he can get word through to Calrun or something, I don't know, or find his way to him.
While he wants to send word to Calrun, he does, but he also, like, if he could stop the so let's put it this way, if he's actually legit able to sabotage Voslo, like, he doesn't have to go to Calrun if he doesn't need to. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Because he knows Calrun's being watched.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if he can just take care of this, I think one of his initial instincts was to see, because he's, like, defenseless. But now he's got, like, at least some daggers. He can do something. He's free.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He's got the,
He's got the drop, and he knows the territory. So he's just urchining it up in the back streets of Tasverell. All right. And you do know, and this is just a reminder from last game, his brothers had offered you to help to get this mission done. But the threat was they could lead to the deaths of your friends who are over there with Voslo and have no idea. So that threat is hanging over you somehow. But they do want that mission to succeed as well. So it's like, I don't know how actively they're going to pursue that.
Yeah, like they want it to succeed. They want them to succeed because then it's their messenger orb.
Exactly. But they did threaten their lives as well. So they've got that hanging over you too. So it's a bit of a chess game.
I think, like, yeah, it is. It's also like, they're like, well, you get your money, but in Rook's mind, it's like, as soon as you get what you want, you're going to kill me.
Well, they seem to be slippery mother.
Yeah, so he's just like, why? Like, you're just saying that. So I'm like, eh.
Yeah. So who knows? Who knows? So we'll watch for that. And you picked that first moment. You full on succeeded that first time. So whenever you want to insert that, where Rook takes control next game, you go for it. But if it's for any length of time after that, we'll start rolling some Arcana checks versus his willpower. All right. I think that closes us off for the evening. And thanks very much, Internet, for sticking around. And thanks, Gordon, for sticking around. And we will come back next week and see what happens as we do more of the balance with the strange acquaintances. Getting strange up in here. All right. Good night.
See ya. Have a good night.
I don't know. Do we need it? episode name? A little micro. Hey. Hey, you. You? I don't know. Something. Anybody? Where am I? Hey, there I am. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hit the thing. Do the thing. Hit the button. The like, the follow, the sub, the... What else is there? The meatball? I don't know. What is there? Hit that button if you haven't yet, and support us, follow us, tell a friend, and we will make some more content for you next week. And join us, make some influence in our game. We'd love that. All right, have a great week. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other, and we'll see you again soon. Good night.